Hey, what's up everyone? So today I'm going to teach you something that you might not find at your local Chinese restaurant, but the Chinese locals know what it is. In Cantonese, it is called青豆牛肉飯. In English, it is called green peas with beef over rice.青豆牛肉飯is a type of dish that has fed the hardworking locals of Chinatown for the longest time, because it is not too expensive and, depending on your point of view, it is relatively, healthy. It's basically starch on starch with protein. It's the original rice bowl. I don't know why people go crazy over rice bowls today. Chinese have been making rice bowls for like forever. So I'm going to show you what I mean by it's not really on menus, but if you order it in Chinese, they'll definitely give it to you. So right here I have a menu from Wo Hop. Basically one of the most well-known OG Chinese restaurants in New York City. And we head to the beef section and you're gonna find beef with snow peas and oyster sauce. But nothing with green peas, and green peas, very different than snow peas, okay? So if you go to Wo Hop and order a 青豆牛肉飯, they know what you want. I ate this when I was like a really young kid. It's one of the first Chinese foods that my mom gave me like $2.75 to go buy at my local Chinese restaurant. And that time I remember it is $2.75 because one time my mom gave me exactly $2.75. I went to the local Chinese restaurant to order a 青豆牛肉飯, and I was short a quarter. And I forgot where that 25 cents went. And then I just realized that I bought some candy before I headed to the restaurant. So I was like 11, 12 years old. I was like on autopilot throughout my entire life. But lucky the cashier just, gave me 25 cents and I had my 青豆牛肉飯. So this dish is just basically beef and green peas, a hunk of garlic, and then oyster sauce that I'm gonna get to later. Very simple, easy to make. So let's get to it. So I got here 250 grams of flank steak. So flank steak is a very popular Chinese restaurant cut. It is relatively affordable compared to like sirloins or ribeyes, right? And it got sort of a funny cut here because I think my butcher was like in a really bad mood. And he gave me like, these pieces, which is, kind of weird. But anyways, never get into an argument with a butcher. They're trained killers. So anyways, I'm gonna slice these about 2 to 3 millimeters thin, 4 millimeters max, but no more than that, okay? Which is like the standard Chinese restaurant cut. There is a minced meat variation of this dish, but personally I prefer the sliced beef version. That is just my preference. So now we just drop all of this into a bowl for a short marinade. A tablespoon of soy sauce, 2 teaspoons of Chinese cooking wine. Then we're just gonna give this a mix. And when I don't see a lot of liquids on the bottom of the bowl, I know that my meat has absorbed most of the liquids. Now throw in a tablespoon of cornflour or cornstarch, depending on where you're coming from. The corn flour is actually quite important for this, and I'll explain to you why later. Okay, once it looks milky white like that, it's done. And then I'll throw in 2 teaspoons of cooking oil. Okay, and then we just leave this alone for 10 minutes in the refrigerator. Just gonna chop up 1 hunk of garlic. That's done. And right here I've got a 1.5 cups of peas. Now this recipe will serve 2 people, but if 1.5 cups of green peas is not enough, you can add 2. Add as much as you want. It's your home. Do whatever you want. And next up, we're going to make the sauce, which I'll need 2/3 of a cup of water and 3 tablespoons of oyster sauce. In Chinese cooking, particularly Cantonese cooking that is, it's mainly oyster sauce based. I mean, going back to this menu from Wohop, pretty much everything that you see here, on this menu, it's got oyster sauce. A teaspoon of dark soy sauce for some color, and a teaspoon of sugar to balance out the saltiness. Just give this a good stir. So last thing we have to do is make a slurry. If you don't know what a slurry is by now, corn flour, which I have a tablespoon here, with a tablespoon of water. And just mix it up for now. Now the cornstarch doesn't actually dissolve in the water, so right before you throw this into your pan or your wok, make sure that you give it one last mix before you throw it in. Okay, so I'm just gonna quickly stir fry my beef. I'm gonna set my pan on a medium-high heat, and when my wok smokes, I'm gonna add just 1.5 tablespoons of oil. Throw in the beef and cook for about 2 to 3 minutes. You don't want to cook your beef completely through because we're going to continue cooking this later on. If you cook it completely through, what's going to happen is you're going to run the risk of overcooking your flank steak, which is not good. Doesn't that look good? I can just eat that right now. And then we just remove the beef. Try and keep as much oil as you can inside the wok or your pan. Now take a look at the bottom of my wok. You see those little bits? Those are bits of beef, bits of flour, and some of the marinade. So I'm gonna turn this into a tasty sauce. I'm gonna show you how right now. So I'm gonna heat my wok on a medium-high heat. I'm gonna chuck in my garlic and let it cook for a few seconds, and then throw in the oyster sauce mixture. Now you can substitute the water with chicken broth or beef broth. But the reason why I didn't do that, because I know after cooking that beef in that wok, there's gonna be flavors on the bottom of that wok, and by adding the oyster sauce and water mixture, you're going to bring out that flavor, and that flavor is going to be in your sauce. When you add the oyster sauce and water in, you want to gently scrape the bottom of your pan just to break up those little bits that are stuck on the wok, and that is going to get incorporated into the sauce. So now I'm going to toss in my peas. And when the peas are heat through, give the slurry one final mix, and then just add it into the sauce. And immediately the sauce should thicken up. Toss in the beef. Stir it up. Turn off the heat. So if you're like me and you miss this dish a lot, try this at home. It is really easy to make because it does not require any technical skill. So if you follow my recipe and adjust it to your taste accordingly, you should be able to make cheng dang mo yo fan, or green peas with beef and oyster sauce, taste the same way as your favorite local Chinese restaurant. But as always, remember, I do make deliveries. I take Bitcoins and Camels as payment. Give it a try, folks. You're gonna love this.